Hey, thanks, Dr. Sam. That was really a nice introduction, and I appreciate you weaving in there my own personal health story as being a naturopath. It just using these ingredients and what I was able to do just restored my faith in what natural things can do, and it's certainly been a pleasure working with you, Dr. Sam, and it's just a wonderful position to be in to receive these testimonials as I have worked with the Cardio 5000 and some 5 years previous to this working with arginine and the various ingredients that we're going to talk about. It's just a very special thing to be able to share this with people and then have them come back and tell you all the great results that they're having. It's just a lot of fun. So we are going to keep this call to about a half hour. We want to kind of hopefully leave you wanting more, and we're going to make it quick. People's attention spans just aren't what they used to be. We've got so much going on, so we're going to try to keep it short. And, of course, this call will be recorded, and you'll be able to listen to it as well as pass it on to other people that couldn't be on for one reason or another. We've got a very special guest that's going to be on a little bit later that's also going to share her health challenges as well as what it's done for her and her clients and her business. And we're excited to have Dr. Kathy with us, and we'll get to her a little bit later in the webinar and the call. So let's go through these slides and this information on Cardio 5000. Just since we're setting up the call this evening, as you'll see, my website there is the argininedoc.com, and we're going to have a ton of information. As you see, it's the Arginine resource where you can go and look at videos, get book reviews, get blogs, get the latest information on all things arginine, nitric oxide, vitamin D, antioxidants. And as you can see there, if you have any questions that you would like to discuss on upcoming calls, please email those to the arginedoc@gmail.com. We're also looking for those testimonials. On our call next week, we are going to be really hitting heavy the cholesterol issue and the benefits of arginine and the ingredients that we're going to talk about tonight in dealing with cholesterol issues. Again, the testimonials have been overwhelming. The research is overwhelming. And so next time you hear anybody say anything about high cholesterol, you'll be able to tell them and share with them this information and be able to point them in the direction of our upcoming call so they can hear for themselves what the research shows and what people are experiencing using arginine and these various things that we're going to talk about. So please keep that in mind, and as we move forward here, we're going to get right into it. The Arginine Solution is a book that was written by Dr. Merrill, and this is by far my favorite arginine book that's out there, and there's been quite a few. But this just came out in 1999, but I just love what Dr. Merrill says. You'll see there in his quote, basically it says, but to biochemists and many physicians alike, the discovery of life on Mars could not have been more exciting. What is he talking about? He's talking about nitric oxide. So nitric oxide is the miracle molecule that will be the subject of our discussion this evening. 3 Nobel Prize winners came about in 1998 for their discovery about nitric oxide and how it's a gas. It makes blood vessels relax and widen. And see there in the Associated Press, this little statement came out in 1998. Unfortunately, if you're like me, I never heard about this in 1998. And I was full steam ahead in my naturopathic practice working with natural things, but I missed this one about the Nobel Prize given for nitric oxide. And we're going to see how arginine and citrulline and various things all fit into this. Here's Dr. John Cook's book called The Cardiovascular Cure. Dr. Cook is the head of cardiovascular research at Stanford, and he talks about how nitric oxide is the cardiovascular cure. In other words, you name the cardiovascular issue, and nitric oxide has been proven to be able to benefit that problem, whether it be congestive heart failure, whether it be high blood pressure, whether it be high cholesterol, whether it be dysglycemia issues associated with diabetes and various things like that. It just works. And Dr. Van Oot from the Mayo Clinic says you're only as old as your endothelium. What does the endothelium have to do with nitric oxide? Well, it's just one cell layer thick that lines your arteries, but that endothelium is what makes this nitric oxide gas. And as we're going to see, and even with my own testimony, it's not just about cardiovascular health. But again, we'll get to that in a minute. So when your endothelium is healthy, and you're making lots of nitric oxide, it's like Teflon. Everything just slides right through. And it becomes diseased, it's more like Velcro, where everything sticks to it. So you want it more like the Teflon situation. As mentioned, it's not just for your cardiovascular health. Come to find out, it does everything everywhere. In fact, nitric oxide is the most studied molecule in history to date. There have been well over 100,000 published articles about arginine and nitric oxide. And as Dr. Stamler from Duke University says, who basically all he does is study nitric oxide, he says you cannot name major cellular responses or physiological effects in which nitric oxide is not implicated today. It's involved in complex behavioral changes in the airway relaxation, beating of the heart, dilation of blood vessels, regulation of intestinal movement, function of blood cells, for me, the immune system, even the way fingers and arms move. You are here because of nitric oxide. It was involved in your conception, and you are here today because of nitric oxide. Here's just a little tiny sample of some of the research on arginine and what it does for lowering blood pressure. I've not seen anything work for lowering blood pressure. Again, get those testimonials to me. We're going to be taking care of the cholesterol and triglycerides in next week's call. Then the following week, we want to talk about blood pressure. Improves diabetes in two ways. We won't get into that because we need to move along, but we'll talk about that in upcoming calls. Improves sexual function. Just a little FYI, Viagra, that drug, many of you probably have heard about that before, and that actually came as a result of the nitric oxide research that came out in 1998 by a drug company called Pfizer, and we'll save that for an upcoming call as well. Reduces blood clots and strokes, improves heart failure, improves wound healing, improves kidney function, improves memory and cognitive functions, increases human growth hormone, improves muscle growth and performance. And we're going to have special calls to deal with all of those topics as we move forward. We're going to have this call every Tuesday evening, same time, and we're going to take 30 minutes to go over something exciting that's been going on.